Hi there. I'm Megan Doss-Sedevi, a registered dietitian, also known as the divorce dietitian, and I'm excited to welcome you to this pre-recorded webinar brought to you by the Illinois Retail Merchants Association and their mission partner, the Illinois Pork Producers Association. Now, as you know, IRMA supports your business through strong advocacy, clear communication around important retail legislation and regulations. But they also recognize that running a business, that's just one part of your very busy life. And that's why they're committed to sharing health and wellness information, not just business topics. So I hope today you find the conversation on how perfect poor pairings can truly help to manage your stress and even help you navigate that work-life balance. Now, I'm a business owner myself, and I know firsthand that running a business, running a household, and trying to stay healthy, well, it can feel impossible at times. As a single mom and someone who wears all the hats, I really do get it. There were times, even as a dietitian, that I was running on caffeine, convenience foods, and stress. But I learned something important. Food can even fuel your chaos, or it can help your calm. And once I started creating mindful habits on how I ate, that was a game changer. So today we're going to learn about small, realistic changes in your kitchen and daily routine that make a big difference in how you handle your stress, show up for yourself, and show up for your business. So whether you're running a grocery store, a boutique, or just juggling a million different things, remember this: food should fuel your calm, not your chaos. So let's start with what's really going on when we feel stressed. Maybe you're under pressure. You might be short-staffed, balancing finances, or maybe there's personal stressors at home. When this happens, your body releases a hormone called cortisol, and that helps you respond to stress. Now, in addition to helping with stress, cortisol reduces inflammation in the body, helps to regulate blood sugars, and supports your sleep cycle. But too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. And when we have high cortisol levels, it can negatively impact our body. We could feel drained, weak, irritable, and even some noticeable weight gain. Does any of that sound familiar? Well, when we skip meals, our blood sugar drops, our energy crashes, and our brain says, "Feed me right now." So we do. And in that quick fix, we typically grab a salty snack or a sweet treat. And the cycle continues. We feel a spike, a crash, our mood tanks, rinse and repeat of that stress cycle. But here's the good news. Food can actually break that loop. We just need to eat in a balanced way. So that means you need a combination of protein, produce, quality carbs, and heart-healthy fats. This is going to stabilize energy, blood sugar levels, support our hormones, and even boost our mood. Now, protein in particular plays a huge role here. It keeps our blood sugar stable, curbs those cravings, and supports the production of neurotransmitters, those feel-good chemicals in our brain that promote positive moods and happiness. And one of my favorite proteins for stress is pork. And here's why. It's rich in B vitamins, which are essential for energy metabolism and nervous system function. It's also affordable and so versatile. Also, there are leaner cuts of meat like pork sirloin or pork tenderloin. Those are actually heart-healthy protein choices. Also, pork cooks extremely fast, and that's perfect for busy weeknights. So let's take all this science that we learned to help reduce our stress and put it into something practical, a simple and satisfying meal that works for your busy life. All right, now it's time to get cooking. Today we're making a quick, balanced, and stress-friendly meal. It's a 30-minute pork and kimchi ramen stir fry. It's perfect for busy weeknights when you don't have a whole lot of time to making a delicious, nutritious, stress-free meal. Now, there are 5 ingredients in this recipe that are going to help reduce our stress. The first one is pork that we've already mentioned, filled with B vitamins. That's going to help reduce your stress by helping that nervous system continue to function properly and help with energy metabolism. We're using pork tenderloin, about a pound of pork tenderloin. It's going to cook super quick. And remember, pork is done at 145 degrees, so it cooks super fast. Our next stress-reducing ingredient is going to be kimchi. Now, if you've not heard of kimchi before, this is fermented cabbage with some different spices. Now, fermented foods, just like kimchi, are filled with probiotics, that gut-friendly bacteria that promotes healthy digestion. And studies have shown that probiotic-rich foods help to build our mental health because their interaction with the gut and the brain helps to affect our moods. So it's a great, delicious addition to the stir fry. We also have spinach. Now spinach, it's a dark leafy green, it contains magnesium, and that helps to reduce our stress in the body. We also have garlic that you see right here. I'm using minced garlic because it's so much easier. Minced garlic is going to help with our prep time. It's going to cut it in half, but it's also going to improve our antioxidant levels, and that's going to help reduce stress in the body. And last but not least, we have chickpeas or garbanzo beans. Now, these are packed with fiber and protein and healthy fats, but they also contain L-tryptophan, and this is what the body needs to help produce mood-regulating neurotransmitters. So again, these 5 foods, amongst some of these other items, are going to help to reduce your stress in the body. So let's get cooking. So now that we have our ramen boiling, the next thing we want to do is cook our chickpeas. We are actually going to roast these chickpeas so they have a real nice crunch added to our ramen. So you're going to go ahead and take these chickpeas and you're going to rinse them and drain them for 2 minutes under cold water to remove up to 40% of that sodium. You do want to use a colander like this, and again, rinse it for 2 minutes under cold water to reduce about 40% of that sodium intake. Once our chickpeas are rinsed and drained, now we're going to put them on a baking sheet. You want to make sure that the baking sheet is covered with parchment paper so that they don't stick. Take your rinsed and drained chickpeas, spread them in a single layer on your baking sheet. Then take your avocado oil spray and gently coat them with olive oil. Next, you're going to take a pinch of salt and pepper, give it a little bit of seasoning, and sprinkle that over your chickpeas. Then you're going to put this in the oven for 45 minutes so they crisp up on 375. Once we have our chickpeas in the oven, now we need to start on the rest of our ingredients. So we need about 6 green onions to make about a half a cup of green onions. Now, a really easy, simple kitchen hack is to use kitchen scissors and just cut the tops of your green onion like this. That way you're not using a knife. It doesn't take any more extra effort, and you're just cutting them ever so nicely, just like this, okay? And you can cut a lot at the same time. So just keep cutting them until you get about a half cup of your green onion. See here, I have about a half cup in there. Next, we need a half of a yellow onion. So I'm gonna grab my onion, and to make sure we have knife safety, I'm gonna cut both the top and the bottom layer of the onion off. And then I'm actually going to cut slightly into the onion and remove the top 2 layers. I learned this from a chef, and it is because a lot of times the outer layer of the first 2 layers, they dry out. They're not as flavorful. They don't taste very good. So just remove them. You can use it for a stock or something else later. So we just need about half of a cup. So that's about a half of an onion diced into small bite-sized pieces. Okay. So I'm going to just line these guys up here, cut them, and you'll see they're in nice bite-sized pieces now. And we're going to use this half of onion and put it into our saute pan. Once we have our onion cut, we're ready to start sauteing our stir fry. So the first thing we need to do is take a medium-sized pan, and we're going to use about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. I like to use spray because it's easier. So I'm just going to spray my pan, coat it well, and then go ahead and turn my stove on to medium heat and let that heat for just a minute. Next up, we're going to add 3 garlic cloves, which if you're using the minced garlic is about 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of my garlic. And I'm also going to add in that half a cup of onions, okay? We want that to just saute for just a few minutes until the onion has become kind of clear, translucent, and you start to really smell that garlic smell. While our garlic is stir frying and heating up with those onions, we want to cut our pork. So like I said before, we have pork tenderloin. It cooks super fast. We only need to get to the internal temperature of 145. And this pork tenderloin, again, is a leaner cut of pork. It's also considered a heart-healthy lean protein. So I'm going to just open up this package here. And I'm going to cut this pork tenderloin into slices. And we're going to put those slices into our saute pan. So you see here, I'm just going to slice this into about 1/2 inch thick slices, okay? And we're going to let that saute with our garlic, our onions, and that avocado oil for about 5 to 8 minutes. We are going to make sure we flip it through. We want to cook it all the way through, which again is the internal temperature of 145. We want to use those meat thermometers. That is going to ensure that our pork is nice and juicy, it's not overcooked, and that it's going to have lots of flavor. Okay, so you see here, our pork, about 1/2 inch thick, nice, even slices. Now that we have our pork slices, we're going to gently lay our pork slices into our saute pan. You hear that sizzle? So remember, you're only cooking this to the internal temperature of 145. So let them cook on one side for maybe 1 to 2 minutes, see how they're doing, and then flip them over just once, okay? We want to make sure that they reach that internal temperature of 145, and then once they do, we know that they are cooked all the way through. So once we've hit the internal temperature of 145, which I'm going to take my meat thermometer, put it in the thickest part of the meat to check, and sure enough, we're at 145, so we're ready to go. We're going to add a few more ingredients. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of sugar. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And we're going to add about a 1/4 cup of water. And we're going to let that simmer for just a few minutes. And then we're going to add in our last couple ingredients, the kimchi, the spinach, and the green onion. So we're ready to add our kimchi, spinach, and green onion. So we need 2 cups of spinach, and we just want it to nicely kind of wilt in with our pork. We need 2 cups of kimchi, and we also need those green onions. So remember that 1/2 cup of green onions. We just pour that on top and mix that in with our pork until the spinach wilts and the kimchi warms through. So maybe 2 to 3 minutes at the most. Now that our spinach is wilted and our kimchi is warmed, we need to add our ramen noodles to our stir fry. So I'm going to grab my pot of ramen noodles and just place these noodles into our stir fry mixture. And once all these noodles are in our stir fry, we're going to go ahead and mix them in so that they get all that delicious flavor of our sauce. Just mix them in here. Oh, this smells and looks amazing. All right. I'll show you guys exactly what this looks like. Check this out. Isn't that beautiful? All the pork, all the sauce, all the ramen. The last thing we need to do is plate our dinner. So grab some of that ramen and pork. Go go ahead and place it into our bowl. If you want to get those juices, make sure that you grab a spoon that in there to get as many juices as you can. And then we're going to grab our roasted chickpeas for that crunch, sprinkle it on top, and you have a stress-free, easy weeknight meal. Look at that. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now that we have dinner handled, let's talk about the everyday wellness and ways that we can create habits to reduce our everyday stress. Now, I like to think about mindful eating moments. It takes our brain and stomach about 20 minutes to connect and say, whoa, 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 I'm full, stop eating. So take that 20 minutes, savor every single moment, taste every taste, and take the time to truly enjoy your food. Again, that 20 minutes is going to really help you with slowing down and savoring every bite and really helping your brain and your stomach communicate to each other. Now, let's talk about snacking. We want you to snack in a smart way because snacking is important to get you from breakfast to lunch to dinner. But we want to make sure that when we're getting those 2 p.m. slumps, that we're not just reaching for something because we're bored or tired or lonely. So there's an acronym called HALT, H-A-L-T, that I want you to kind of ask yourself each time you're reaching for a snack around that 2 p.m. Midday slump. So H, are you actually hungry? Is your stomach growling? Have you not eaten in the last 2 to 3 hours? Are you actually hungry? A stands for, are you angry or upset? Maybe you're eating because you're emotional. A meeting didn't go well, or maybe something happened in the store that didn't go your way. Maybe we're not really paying attention to our hunger cues. So again, making sure we're not upset. L stands for lonely. Maybe you work from home, or maybe you've been alone and not on calls and you're just feeling kind of lonely. So make sure to reach out to a coworker, friend, or family so you're not just reaching for that snack. T is for tired. A lot of us might get tired because we're doing the same thing all day long. We just need a brain break. So stand up, go for a quick walk. If that still doesn't cover it, think about the HALT, the HALT method. And if you've answered all the questions and you're still hungry, then it's time to snack. Now, the most important thing when it comes to snacking is to make sure you have a combination of protein and fiber. Fiber is going to fill you up and keep you full longer, and that protein is going to keep your blood sugars nice and steady and stable. So here are some of my favorite snacks to snack on when you're looking for a healthy snack that'll fill you up and keep you satisfied until your next meal. So here we have apples and nut butter. I have an almond butter here. Almond butter, peanut butter, any nut butter, it's filled with fiber. It's going to fill you up, keep you full longer. It also has a great source of protein and heart-healthy fat, so it's really satisfying. And then your apple is a great produce. It's got tons of nutrients, including boosting immune health, and it's got fiber too. Next up, we have jerky. This is actually pork jerky in a bourbon flavor with some dried mango, okay? So again, the dried mango has the fiber in it. The protein is from this pork jerky, a really great combination. It's sweet and savory, so it's a must-have if that's your jam. Next up, we have hummus and fresh veggies. Now, hummus is also a great source of protein, heart-healthy fats. It also has a ton of fiber, not to mention your broccoli and carrots. They're 2 different colors, so you're getting different nutrients. I always say try to have 3 different colors of fruits and vegetables throughout the day because that's going to make sure you have enough different nutrients to keep the body fueled and healthy. Next up, we have some Greek yogurt with some fresh fruit. Greek yogurt is packed with protein. It's got tons of calcium, so great for bone health. And then these fresh fruits, again, they have fiber, they're colorful, and they really will give you that sweetness to combine with that creamy yogurt. And last but not least, we have edamame, and it's actually not paired with anything because it's both protein and fiber. So edamame is a plant-based protein. It is fantastic. You can microwave it for about 30 seconds in the microwave, and it is protein and fiber rich. So you don't need to pair it with anything. It is just the perfect snack all on its own. So once we have all of our different snack items, the next thing to think about is caffeine and water. So if you're like me, a lot of times in the afternoon, you're reaching for coffee, but water is actually extremely hydrating, and water actually does help you with your stress level. So you need to aim for between 9 and 11 glasses of water a day. And everybody's different, so some might need more, some might need less. But a good way to do this is to make sure that the first thing you do in the morning is drink a tall glass of water before having that caffeine. And then make sure that if you are having a coffee break later in the day, that you also add some water. If you're not a huge water fan, that's okay. All you need to do is grab a little bit of maybe some fresh fruit or fresh herbs like mint or basil. It'll give it a really nice flavor. You can also reach for some of the carbonated infused waters that are sparkling. Those are also a good option and still very hydrating. Now, another option to think about for mindful moments are those minor moments when it comes to movement. Now, moving is really important. I don't mean you need to go to the gym and work out for hours, but you should get some movement in every day. Think about how you can move, whether it's taking the stairs, parking in the back of the shopping mall parking lot and walking a little bit more to the front door. Maybe it's taking an extra walk. I like to have meetings that are walking meetings. So whether I'm on the phone and walking or I'm in person and walking, have those calls, have those meetings, and make them walking meetings. These are just some really simple, easy ways to continue to get all that wellness in from a food, movement, as well as everyday wellness.
All right, now that we've talked through easy wellness habits, let's put them into action. Welcome to your Fuel Your Calm Daily Habits Challenge. This is just 3 minutes, and you can repeat this anytime stress tries to take over your day. We're going to practice 5 micro habits that help you regulate your stress, support your energy, and feel grounded, even on the busiest of days. Are you ready? Let's do it. We're going to start with mindful eating moments. First, place your hand on your stomach and take 1 deep belly breath in. Hold it in through your nose and then release it slowly. If you're currently eating or drinking, take 1 mindful bite or sip. Notice the taste. Notice how your body responds. Even a few intentional bites a day can reduce stress signals to your brain. Now let's take that smart snack shift. Think about your next snack today. Can you choose something with protein and fiber together? Say this out loud with me. Protein keeps me steady, fiber keeps me full. It's a simple formula that stabilizes mood, energy, and cravings, especially during stressful moments. Here's your hydration reset. Grab your drink, whatever you have on hand, and sip it with purpose. Hydration is one of the fastest ways to boost energy when stress hits. And if you're swapping coffee for water today, that's already a win. Here's our micro movement break. All right. Sit up straight, shoulders back. Make sure your spine looks like a tall, tall glass of water. And gently stretch your neck from side to side. Even 10 to 30 seconds of movement sends a powerful message to your nervous system. You are safe. You can breathe. Tomorrow, maybe it's a lap around your store or a walk to the mailbox. Remember, movement doesn't have to be big to make a big difference. And last but not least, self-care. It's time to boost your confidence. Think of one thing you're proud of today and say it out loud or even silently in your head. I showed up today, and that's all that matters. Because caring for yourself in small, consistent ways, it fuels your calm, strengthens your resilience as a leader, as a human. Now you've just practiced all 5 stress-reducing habits in just 3 minutes. These are tiny steps, but they are compound. You deserve every moment of calm that they bring.
We've covered a lot today, from learning and understanding stress to a quick cooking demo, and then little ways to reduce stress in our daily life. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you walk away inspired to make food your calm and not your chaos. I also wanted to thank our sponsors one more time, the Illinois Retail Merchants Association, as well as the Illinois Pork Producers Association. They are supporting small businesses and making health education a priority. And also, stay connected with me at The Divorce Dietitian, as well as IRMA and IPPA. We are all on Instagram, so find us there and stay connected.
I know when it comes to stress and food, we all have a million questions. So I wanted to take some time to dive into a few of the most common questions I get from busy business professionals like you. So let's jump in. One of the most asked questions I get all the time is, what if I don't have time to cook every night? And that's a totally fair question because most of us don't. That's why I focus on cooking once and eating twice. I like to double recipes, like today's pork stir fry. I can eat half tonight and pack the rest for leftovers for lunch and dinner throughout the week. This buys me a little bit more time and is a little bit less stressful when it comes to meal planning. You also can keep staples in rotation. So have frozen fruit and veggies in your freezer. You could have cooked proteins. They're shredded or chopped to make different meals like tacos, toppings on pizza, or even a great crockpot meal. And the pantry is your friend, keeping rice, beans, and other quick pantry staples that you can just grab really quick and make a balanced meal out of. These are realistic and repeatable, and that's the goal. Another great question I get from customers is, what if customers or families don't eat pork? That's not a problem. The key here is you just need protein. So you can swap pork for chicken, tofu, shrimp, or any protein you have left over. The important part is you need protein and you want to keep balanced plates. So protein, veggies, fiber, and carbs. That is the way to keep a nice balanced diet. Another great question I get is, kimchi too spicy for kids or picky eaters? Kimchi definitely has personality, but I'll be honest, my 7-year-old, she eats it no problem. Like I said before, kimchi is just fermented cabbage that has a bunch of spices and seasonings, and it's typically not spicy. But you can swap out kimchi for other fermented foods like sauerkraut, pickles, or if you're open to it, using yogurt or kefir from the dairy department. Even small, simple swaps will help you with that gut health as well as supporting your stress. And remember, everything is customizable. So if kimchi isn't your jam, that's okay. There's plenty of other stress relieving ingredients in that recipe we made today. Another great question I get is, what do I do when I get stressed and I crave something sweet or salty? Stress cravings, they're very normal. And you're not a failure if you're getting them. Your body is just looking for quick comfort and fast energy. So here's a couple things to do when those cravings come. Pause. Take a deep breath. Think about making a snack that has both protein and fiber, like nuts and dried fruit, or maybe even hummus and some veggies. And before you make that snack, just wait 5 minutes. Most of the time, after 5 minutes has passed, so has your craving. And you're not overeating because you're not hungry. But if you still want that cookie or that bag of chips, by all means, enjoy it just mindfully. Don't add guilt. It just gives you more stress. Enjoy it, savor every bite and flavor. Another question I get asked is, how can I build better habits when my routine is unpredictable? And that is a really good question. I feel that very personally too, because that's just small business life. Life is very unpredictable and no day is the same. So think about those micro habits over massive overhaul changes. So swapping out 1 cup of coffee for water, taking that 5 minute stretch break, snack on a protein with a little bit of fiber when you're, feeling that afternoon slump, or when you're just not going to cook, you're not going to prep, order something that is balanced. Consistency is really the key here. We're not looking for perfection. Your routine doesn't need to be predictable, but your habits do need to support your best health. My last question is about caffeine and how much caffeine is too much caffeine when you need that energy boost. Remember, caffeine isn't the enemy. Um, it just backfires when you have too much of it. So, studies say that anywhere between 2 to 4 cups a day is healthy. And there are also some benefits. But again, don't have caffeine too close to bedtime because it can interrupt your sleep. So have your last caffeine fix 4 to 6 hours before bedtime. Also, instead of just constantly craving that caffeine, try eating more balanced meals. Add that protein, that fiber, those fruits and vegetables, those healthy fats and carbs. Balanced food is going to help you with that energy balance. And also hydration. Make sure you continue to drink lots of water. Water does help to rejuvenate our bodies and helps to make us feel less stressed. Now, all of these are great questions, and I know that there are many more. So if you happen to have any questions and want to keep this conversation going, feel free to reach out to me at the Divorce Dietitian on Instagram, or you can find me at megan@thedivorcedietitian.com. Remember, you deserve good food and good healthy habits that support you, not just drain you. So keep making those stress reducing choices. You got this.